As much as actors often love to remind the audience that on-screen kissing is just another part of their job, we know that some of those up-close and personal moments have to go better than others. Fortunately, some stars have kissed and told, and the results are revealing. The Greatest Showman makes its audience wait until almost the very end to see the electric chemistry between playwright Zac Efron's character Philip and trapeze artist Zendaya's character Anne pay off in a poignant kiss. The star-crossed couple finally gives in to their desire for each other after he nearly dies trying to save her from a fire. Waking up in a hospital, Philip finds Anne waiting at his bedside. Possibly defying medical advice, they finally smooch. Efron felt that the moment was worth the wait too. Although he's previously been nominated for not one, but 2 MTV Movie Awards for Best Kiss, he told FilmWeb TV, "This might be my favorite kiss, I think ever, just cause, at this point, for these characters, the tension between them is so strong that literally just a glance between them is electric. And when they finally have the courage to finally connect and get that kiss, it's that epic, beautiful moment." Zendaya happened to be sitting next to Efron when he paid her that pretty impressive compliment. She responded very coolly by raising her eyebrows to the camera and adding, "That kiss pays off for the audience. It's like, finally." At least one person thinks Chris Pratt comes out on top in something. Bryce Dallas Howard proved it when she told people that in the moment Pratt kissed her in Jurassic World, Chris's breath was like starburst. He's perfect in every way. Ironically, the co-star's Jurassic World kiss wasn't even supposed to happen. Pratt and director Colin Trevorrow decided that after following the script and shooting a take with no kiss, Pratt would surprise Howard on the next take, in front of 800 extras. That look of surprise in the final version is real. Honestly, eating a few starbursts beforehand is the least he could do. Fortunately, Howard had only positive things to say about working with Pratt. She told Out magazine, "He is a very attractive human being. He's just like the best guy. There's nothing more handsome than a humble heart." She wasn't the only one who approved of the spontaneous kiss. Howard said that after Trevorrow ended that take, everyone in the background started cheering. Quote, "It was great." If you really have to kiss someone in front of 100 crew members and a handful of co-stars multiple times a week for years, it's preferable to have that person also be your partner off-screen. At least, that's what Penn Badgley discovered when he was working on Gossip Girl. On Watch What Happens Live, Badgley was asked who his best and worst on-screen kissing partners have been. He shared, "On-screen kisses are not really that real, but I'll say it was Blake, because we actually had a relationship at the time." Badgley dated his co-star Blake Lively from 2007 to 2010. Their respective characters, Dan and Serena, had an on-off relationship for the show's entire 6-season run, which ended in 2012. The mathematicians among you will notice that Dan and Serena were together-ish for 2 years longer than Badgley and Lively. This explains Badgley's pick for worst on-screen kissing partner. And then the worst, maybe Blake after we broke up.
Wait, no. Let me guess. You can explain.
However, he added that he and Lively were professional throughout the final 2 awkward seasons, which culminate, spoiler alert, in Dan and Serena getting married. Badgley summarized by saying, quote, "We handled it. Loose lips sink ships." But in the World War II period piece Atonement, one romantic scene also got audiences talking. In addition to lip-locking, it involves a green silk dress, a library, and a creative use for bookshelves. The chemistry between Keira Knightley's character, Cecilia, and her childhood friend Robbie, played by James McAvoy, is palpable. Knightley was feeling the heat with her co-star too. By the time she made Atonement, she'd already shared on-screen kisses with such partners as Orlando Bloom in Pirates of the Caribbean, Chiwetel Ejiofor and Andrew Lincoln in Love Actually, Clive Owen in King Arthur, and Matthew McFadden in Pride and Prejudice. But while promoting Atonement at the Venice Film Festival, she told the Chicago Tribune, "James is the best kisser ever. To be fair to the others, McAvoy was there with her at the time, so it would have been extremely awkward if she'd named someone else." Although the multi-talented singer, dancer, and actor has had the opportunity to kiss multiple Hollywood A-listers over the course of her illustrious career, Jennifer Lopez went with a relatively obscure pick when it was time to offer up her choice for Best On-Screen Kisser. In 2014, Lopez told Watch What Happens Live that Josh Lucas is her favorite on-screen kiss. He played her love interest in the 2005 drama An Unfinished Life. Lopez told Andy Cohen, "I felt, and I hope he would say the same, that we had a very good kiss." She explained that the scene involved some challenging maneuvers in the back of a truck, saying, "I think we were both really nervous." And then he was like, "That was really good." I was like, "Yeah, that was really good." Lucas confirmed Lopez's account when he appeared on the show in 2015. Asked about his favorite kiss, he said, "I gotta agree with Jennifer Lopez. She was phenomenal in many ways." Lucas also explained that the scene was ultimately cut so the movie could get a PG rating. "It's good to know that the chemistry was mutual, even if we never got to see it in action." Anyone who still hasn't found a love story to match Titanic will understand Leonardo DiCaprio's pick for his favorite on-screen kissing partner of his career. When DiCaprio was asked which leading lady was his favorite to kiss on the Oprah Winfrey Show in 2004, he said, "I'm just gonna go with Kate Winslet." The show played a 1998 clip of Winslet saying very nice things about DiCaprio, including how great he was to work with and how close they grew over the shoot. DiCaprio agreed. "If it wasn't for her making that film, we would have been shrapnel by this point. It was just the toughest film we ever had to make, and we were partners together, you know? We held each other's hand and supported each other." However, Winslet herself let out the secret that DiCaprio wasn't always so happy about those Titanic kissing scenes. After crashing a red carpet interview with DiCaprio at a 2005 SAG Awards, Winslet revealed, "I can tell you right now, he hated it." DiCaprio denied this at first, but then explained that the main issue was something that had nothing to do with their chemistry. Instead, it was really just that the pair's different colored foundations would rub off on each other's faces. Winslet and DiCaprio are famously still good friends, even reuniting in 2008 for a much less romantic movie, Revolutionary Road. Even though DiCaprio has kissed many more leading ladies since that 2004 declaration, we all know he's never let go of his Titanic teammate. Some people get nervous just talking to someone they admire. Not Sharon Stone. She was actually excited to shoot a kissing scene with her favorite actor. On a 2020 episode of Watch What Happens Live, Stone was asked which of the men she's acted opposite was the best kisser. Stone named Robert De Niro, quote, "far and away." She and De Niro played husband and wife in the 1995 gangster movie Casino. Stone explained that she'd always wanted to work with De Niro, and that admiration made her even more excited to shoot romantic scenes with him. "Maybe because I just held him in such extraordinary high regard, and there was so much attached to it. But kissing him was pretty fabulous, so I don't know that I could compare anything else to that. Anything else is just kinda like, meh." Surprisingly, Stone almost didn't take the role in Casino. She was told that the character, a mother who neglects her child to do drugs, was too unsympathetic. But once she'd auditioned and landed the part, Stone felt that De Niro and director Martin Scorsese were the first people to truly understand her potential as an actor. She told The Guardian, "To get the pat on your back from your peers is always pretty great." Heath Ledger earned a posthumous Oscar for his sinister portrayal of the Joker in The Dark Knight, but many fans will always remember him best as the lead in many of their favorite romantic movies. They'll be pleased to know that his leading ladies in those cheerier pictures very much enjoyed working with him. On Watch What Happens Live in 2014, Kate Hudson was asked which of her on-screen love interests, other than Wish I Was Here co-star Zach Braff, who was sitting right next to her, was the best kisser. Hudson replied that it was Ledger, whom she starred opposite in the 2002 war drama The Four Feathers. She recalled, "That was pretty excellent. He was just so beautiful and sweet and gentle. He was lovely." If you were expecting Hudson to choose frequent rom-com collaborator Matthew McConaughey, it might ease your disappointment to know that she had good reasons not to pick that particular leading man for this honor. She told Entertainment Tonight that she and McConaughey always find themselves in weird situations while shooting kissing scenes that made things a bit awkward. She explained, "We're kissing after a plane crash, and like, in the water. I have yet to have the kiss with Matthew that's just like, kind of simple." Despite playing a series of charmingly self-deprecating heartthrobs, Hugh Grant has freely admitted that he's not exactly popular with many of his former leading ladies. It's no wonder though. When Oprah asked him about kissing Julia Roberts, his response was less than gentlemanly. "She has a very big mouth. When I was kissing her, I was aware of a faint echo." He also admitted to making Drew Barrymore cry on the set of their rom-com, Music and Lyrics, but the two reunited virtually for an interview in 2020. However, Grant did have fun with one co-star, and they're still friends. He told British talk show host Alan Carr that Renee Zellweger is, quote, "a top snogger." Grant played bad boy Daniel Cleaver opposite Zellweger's Bridget Jones in the first two movies of the iconic trilogy. Furthermore, he's pretty sure that even though Bridget ultimately ends up with Cleaver's rival Mark Darcy, played by Colin Firth, Zellweger still had more fun kissing Grant. He shared, "You'd have to ask Zellweger who she preferred, but I think Colin tried too hard. I think that was the problem." Fighting words indeed, especially considering that Grant didn't return for the third installment in the series, leaving Zellweger kissing not only Firth, but also her character's new love interest, Jack Quant, played by Patrick Dempsey. Meryl Streep is famous for getting completely absorbed in a role, and she brings that energetic enthusiasm to her kissing scenes, as Emma Thompson found out. Asked who had been her best on-screen kiss, Thompson first named Robbie Coltrane. She kissed him in the 1987 BBC series Tutti Frutti, in which they played rock stars in the fictional Scottish band The Majestics. That's right, kids. Hagrid and Professor Trelawney were once each other's love interests and made out on stage for a TV show. Although, Thompson admitted, it turned into a bit of a tooth kiss. Thompson also once played the love interest of her close friend Alan Rickman, also known as Professor Snape, so the Harry Potter universe was already pretty awkward. Thompson went on to add, Meryl Streep's a very good snogger. The two actresses kissed in a 2003 HBO adaptation of the celebrated play Angels in America. Thompson recalled, "She was method about it. There was no stone unturned in my gob, that's for sure. I thought, blimey, what's she doing here? Mining for jewels?" In case you were wondering, Thompson's advice on preparing for a kissing scene is to avoid tuna sandwiches beforehand and go easy on the teeth. Shooting romantic scenes is famously uncomfortable, but Ethan Hawke found the bright side when he was matched with Angelina Jolie in the 2004 serial killer thriller Taking Lives. Nearly a decade later, Hawke was still telling multiple interviewers that Jolie was his favorite person to kiss on screen. On radio show Sway in the Morning in 2012, Hawke said that he was nervous about filming his love scene with Jolie because of the crowded set, and because, well, she's Angelina Jolie. Hawke stated, "She cuts an intimidating figure, but it turned out to be one of the finest days of my life." According to Hawke, Jolie suggested that she get naked while Hawke stayed fully clothed. He recalled that all of a sudden, he wasn't nervous at all. Hawke opened up a little more the following year in an appearance on Watch What Happens Live, possibly with a respectable amount of assistance from the show's famous bar. Hawke tried to explain why Jolie was his favorite performed kiss, saying, "Why is Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart a genius? Angelina Jolie was born to whittle men, to make them weak. When she kisses you, you don't know your name." Will Ferrell isn't much known for being a romantic lead, but maybe he should be, given that two actresses who've been lucky enough to lock lips with him have attested to his kissing abilities. In 2007, Amy Adams, who kissed Ferrell in Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, managed to compliment and mildly insult Ferrell in one breath. Adams said, "He's a fantastic kisser. I was not expecting that." Adams also complimented Enchanted co-star Patrick Dempsey, whom she described as lovely, but it's clear Ferrell impressed her the most. A couple of years later, Ferrell also got a vote of kissing confidence from Land of the Lost co-star Anna Friel. Like Adams, Friel delivered a backhanded compliment when she declared, "Will Ferrell is a really fantastic kisser. You wouldn't expect it from him. He's got twinkly blue eyes, and he was gentler than I thought that he perhaps might be." Despite Ferrell's reputation for comedy over romance, he has had quite a few kisses on film. Ferrell himself noted in 2017 that someone had kindly counted 15 up to that point. But he humbly added, "I don't know what that says." It says people listened to Adams and Friel. Sure, kissing other actors is all part of the job, but that doesn't mean that work can't sometimes be fun. The 1988 movie Big had Tom Hanks playing a 12-year-old named Josh, who is suddenly transformed into an adult and lands his dream job testing toys. Elizabeth Perkins, who played Josh's love interest, Susan, had a good day at work when they shot their kissing scenes. In 2021, when asked which kiss on screen she still fondly remembers years later on Watch What Happens Live, Perkins named her scenes with Hanks in Big. The kisses themselves were relatively innocent, since his character was technically 12, but Perkins was still impressed by her scene partner. She admitted, "I had such a crush on Hanks at the time." At the time, Perkins was single, but Hanks was dating his current wife, Rita Wilson. Noting this, Perkins added that while he was, quote, completely off limits, he was adorable. Ironically, she almost had a different partner to pucker up with. In the same interview, Perkins said that Robert De Niro originally signed up to play Josh, but was replaced by Hanks due to scheduling conflicts. That's a big difference. Jennifer Lawrence is famously direct, and that extends to discussing her on-screen kissing partners. But her top choice isn't necessarily who you'd expect based on her off-screen love life. In 2015, on Watch What Happens Live, Lawrence confirmed that she and Hunger Games love interest Liam Hemsworth took their kissing chemistry off-screen at some point. As she explained, "Liam and I grew up together. Liam's real hot. What would you have done?" Lawrence also doesn't shy away from offering constructive feedback to her film love interests. In 2013, her frequent collaborator Bradley Cooper told the Graham Norton show that, while shooting Silver Linings Playbook, Lawrence told him he was, quote, "a wet kisser," and it was not a compliment. However, the pair still picked up an MTV Movie Award for Best Kiss. They also went on to kiss in 2014's Serena. Cooper must have taken Lawrence's advice to heart, because in 2018, when Ellen DeGeneres asked Lawrence whether Hemsworth or Cooper was the better kisser, she said Cooper. To be fair, Hemsworth didn't necessarily relish those kissing scenes either. At least, that's what he told Jimmy Fallon in 2014.
If we had a kissing scene, she would make a point of eating garlic or tuna fish.
Amanda Seyfried has been refreshingly open about the highs and lows of shooting love scenes. One kiss in particular stands out to her because she and her partner clicked so well. In 2014, W Magazine reported that Seyfried said that she and co-star Megan Fox, quote, "kissed really well together." She added, "We have similar kissing styles. If I watch the scene, it's actually really sexy." Seyfried also had great chemistry with co-star Dominic Cooper, who played her groom in Mamma Mia. The pair even started dating after the movie wrapped. However, they split after 4 years, which made reuniting to play the now married couple in Mamma Mia 2 a little awkward. Working with an ex is hard enough, but having to kiss them as part of your job is a whole other dynamic, especially since Seyfried's husband was on set for some of their kissing scenes. As Seyfried explained to Elle, "It's very strange having to not be intimate with someone you've had an intimate relationship with, but Dominic and I have such a good relationship that it was easy." Cooper backed up her account, telling Attitude that the atmosphere on set was pleasant and that he enjoyed catching up with Seyfried, seeing how different their lives were after 10 years. If you feel that the most believable element of the Transformers franchise is the chemistry between Megan Fox and Shia LaBeouf, Fox partially agrees. In 2014, she told E! News that LaBeouf was her favorite kiss on screen. That may be because the actors were diligently rehearsing their kissing scenes in real life. In 2011, LaBeouf admitted to details that he and Fox had a romantic relationship on the set of Transformers, although it's not clear if he meant the first or second movie in the franchise, which came out in 2007 and 2009 respectively. LaBeouf put it down to a long shoot, saying, "In the film, someone is rooting to be attracted to you, and you're rooting to be attracted to them." Awkwardly, Fox was thought to have been in a relationship with actor Brian Austin Green from 2004 until February 2009. They reconciled, marrying in June 2010, but officially split in May 2020. Asked about their status at the time of his relationship with Fox, LaBeouf said, quote, "I don't know, man." Also awkwardly, he didn't return Fox's compliment. He said Dakota Johnson was his favorite kissing partner. Even still, in 2018, Fox confirmed LaBeouf's claims, telling Watch What Happens Live that she would confirm that their on-set relationship was romantic. When Andy Cohen suggested it had been an on-set romance that didn't go anywhere afterwards, Fox said, "Yeah, they'll always have Transformers." There is in fact a way to publicly applaud a co-star's kissing skills while also keeping the conversation classy. Exhibit A, Oprah Winfrey and Forrest Whitaker have both spoken highly of their experience playing a romantic couple in The Butler. Speaking to her close friend Gayle King on CBS News to promote the movie, Winfrey said of her co-star, quote, "I adore him." When King asked whether kissing Whitaker made her, quote, "feel all tingly," Winfrey said, "I felt pretty good about it. Let me just say, Forrest is a good kisser." She then jokingly and honestly thanked Keisha Whitaker, Whitaker's wife. The couple has been married since 1996. The feeling is mutual. Talking to The Source, Whitaker described their character's relationship as the closest he's ever portrayed on screen. He said of his co-star, "She's amazing. I loved working with her. I haven't had a lot of love relationships on screen. None is as intimate as this one." Even better than hearing that you're someone's favorite on-screen kisser has to be hearing that multiple former co-stars were impressed with your smooching skills. You'd have to ask Tom Cruise for insight into this experience, as his kissing has been publicly acclaimed by at least 3 of his former leading ladies. In 1996, Shelley Long of Cheers fame told Rosie O'Donnell that she and Cruise had kissed in a movie called Losing It, which came out right before Risky Business made him a star. Asked if Cruise was a good kisser, Long said, "I would rate him very highly." Long added that she doesn't typically rank her leading men's kissing abilities, but if she did, Cruise was, quote, off the scale. Fast forward to 2013, Leah Thompson, also known as Marty McFly's mom in Back to the Future, recalled starring opposite Cruise in All the Right Moves, which hit theaters just after Risky Business and before Top Gun. She seemed to rank Cruise's kissing abilities highly too, saying, "There's something about the way he pays attention. The way Cruise looks at you, like he's really looking at you." Although Thompson pointed out that he might have gone downhill since 1983, evidence suggests otherwise. In 2011, Gwyneth Paltrow reminisced on The Rachel Ray Show about kissing Cruise in their 2002's Austin Powers and Goldmember cameo. Paltrow recalled, "He was an amazing kisser." One undeniable truth of Buffy the Vampire Slayer is that the show's fans are fiercely divided over which of the heroine's vampire love interests is superior. If they're hoping that finding out Sarah Michelle Gellar's favorite on-screen kissing partner might solve that fight, they're in for a disappointment. When asked who her favorite performed kiss came from in 2014, Gellar said, "Selma Blair. That's easy." She is of course referring to her famous makeout with Blair in Cruel Intentions. The kiss not only won them the 2000 MTV Movie Award for Best Kiss, it also nabbed the legendary Lip Lock Award at the MTV Greatest of All Time Awards. In 2021, Gellar expanded on what made the kiss so memorable for her. She told Us Weekly, "Selma's a great kisser. It's just soft lips, she smells great, and then we had ice cream. Sorry, Team Spikes and Angel." Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler have played a couple multiple times, and it may be true that he won her over on their very first movie together. In 2009, Barrymore told People magazine that her kiss with Sandler in The Wedding Singer was her favorite kissing scene. She shared, "It was really innocent and unsalacious, really romantic and fun. I think Adam is the greatest guy, so it's easy to be in love with him." However, Barrymore isn't the only woman Sandler has had to impress with his romantic performances. In 2014, on a joint appearance on Ellen, Sandler said that his wife Jackie, whom he married in 2003, is a big fan of Barrymore's and will give him feedback if she feels that he's not being romantic enough towards her in a scene. Recalling shooting a particular scene for their 2014 comedy Blended, Sandler said that he initially felt that he'd done a good job, until he walked off set to a frustrated Jackie, who told him, "For the sake of women, get in there and just look a little more alive." It is, after all, your real-life partner whose approval you should be most interested in. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite celebrities are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.